Good morning, everybody. I am Jeremiah Stafford. If you didn't know my name, I'm sure you've seen my big head around the building. We've been at Redemption for a while now, my wife, Robin, and I, and our kids. So today we are going to get into Proverbs, and we're going to see Christ in Proverbs. In doing some research for this, came across an article by Ray Ortland, and he had some interesting things to say, so I'll kind of start there with him. Synopsizing, obviously, it says, Proverbs is a book of wisdom, God's wise counsel to us. Jeremiah 18:18 shows us that the law came from the priests, the prophets declared his word, and the wise men offered counsel. This book is pretty practical. It can be overlooked, though, because it's not simplistic. Proverbs is not a quick fix, but meant to be mulled over slowly. God uses Proverbs to stir up a deep change in our hearts. Ray also said, and I'm going to quote this one because I thought it was pretty good, the book of Proverbs is a gospel book. It is good news for bad people. It is about grace for sinners. It is about hope for failures. It is about wisdom for idiots. This book is Jesus coming to us as our counselor, as our life coach, as our wise counsel. Jesus is our priest and our prophet, but the book of Proverbs, we encounter Jesus as our mentor. So, if you could have anything you wanted, it would be fill in the blank. And I'm sure we've all had conversations like this with our wives or with our friends, sitting around a campfire or whatnot. There's somebody that had that opportunity. God came to King Solomon and asked him what he wanted and said he would give it to him. So let's look at that part first. So before we actually get into Proverbs, we'll start in 1 Kings. It says, at Gibeon, the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream by night, and God said, ask what I shall give you. And Solomon said, you have shown great and steadfast love to your servant David, my father, because he walked before you in faithfulness, in righteousness, and in uprightness of heart toward you. And you have kept for him this great and steadfast love, and have given him a son to sit on his throne this day. And now, O Lord my God, you have made your servant king in place of David my father. Although I am but a little child, I do not know how to go out or come in, and your servant is in the midst of your people, whom you have chosen, a great people, too many to be numbered or counted for multitude. Give your servant therefore an understanding mind to govern your people, that I may discern between good and evil. For who is able to govern this, your great people? So he gets asked the question, what do you want? And this guy, he is 20 years old, could ask for anything, ask for wisdom. Now I know when I was 20, I would have asked for anything but wisdom, because I thought I knew it all already. He was young and made king over many people. There were lots of decisions to be made. It was probably overwhelming. And he knew that the one thing that he would need is wisdom, and that God's wisdom is what he needed. So how does Christ pull into this? We see in 1 Corinthians 1:30, it says, and because of him you are in Christ Jesus, who became to us wisdom from God, righteousness and sanctification and redemption. So Christ himself is wisdom. And if we look back just a few verses in 25, it says, the foolishness of God is wiser than man. The foolishness of God is wiser than man. So think of the smartest person you know, and he's still dumber than the foolishness of God. That's pretty cool. So how do we tie all this back to Proverbs? When we think about Proverbs, we think about wisdom, we think about King Solomon, but really what we're seeing is Christ showing himself to us through the wisdom that he gave Solomon. wisdom that gives life and protects from death. The teaching of the wise is the fountain of life, that one may turn away from the snares of death. That's Proverbs 13:14. So let's tie all this together with 5 passages from Proverbs that I think we can glean wisdom from. Proverbs 3:5-8. This one's kind of personal for me. It's one a lot of people know the first part. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will make straight your path. Be not wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and turn away from evil. It will be healing to your flesh and refreshment to your bones. Proverbs 12:15. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but a wise man listens to advice. Proverbs 14:29. Whoever is slow to anger has great understanding, but he who has a hasty temper exalts folly. Proverbs 15:33. The fear of the Lord is instruction and wisdom, and humility comes before honor. An intelligent heart acquires knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeks knowledge. So we see that Christ shows himself to us in Proverbs through the wisdom that is given to Solomon by God. And we see that God himself is that wisdom. So I hope you guys learned as much as I did. Thanks.